Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Flash! Uzba! You probably have a flash USB drive lying around. Probably got it as a tchotchke. If you've ever gone to a conference or a convention or an expo, some companies will purchase these USB flash drives in bulk and hand them out with marketing materials on them or sometimes their company logo. Unfortunately, those USB flash drives suck. I mean, like, maybe have like 16 megabytes worth of storage. And quite honestly, even the free flash drives, to me, aren't worth it if they're less than a gig. I know they're free, and you shouldn't complain about free, but I'm also recommending that you also shouldn't pay for a flash drive if it's under a gig. Why? Well, if it's the same physical size, might as well have as much capacity as possible, right? Well, we've got a top 5 list submitted by one of our friends, Eric Jones, also known as Bowler Forever. And you can find him at live.pirillo.com, chatting frequently. He says, hey, Chris, Bowler Forever here, and I've got another top 5 list for you. You know, how many people want a new flash drive so they can store files, pictures, Linux distros, etc., but they don't know what to get? Here are a few tips to get the size that you want, durability, and possibly brand. Tip number 1. Are you worried about how well these things are going to stand up to the elements or shoving in or out of your pockets? Don't. These drives are hard and sturdy, and they can even withstand small drops from concrete or asphalt onto. And as Bowler Forever notes here, been there, done that. It drops onto your floors from your desks or taken care of by, well, you know, the outside casing of these solid-state drives. Solid state. Do you hear anything? Can you guys hear anything? No, because there's no moving parts. Solid state. It's a good thing. So if you drop it, don't worry about it. I mean, I wouldn't take a hammer to it, but, you know, just treat them with as much care. But yeah, they're okay to pull in and out of your pocket. Some even keep them on their keychains. That's a possibility too. Tip number 2, what are you going to use the drive for? If you're simply storing important documents for your workplace and nothing else, then maybe a 512 megabyte stick will do just fine. For a Linux distro like Ubuntu, a gig will work perfectly, as the Ubuntu distro is slightly under 700 meg, the size of your typical CD, or the data that could fit on a CD. For a moderate amount of music or various installers, he recommends 2 gigabytes, as would I. This one, even though I held it up, this is a 2 gigabyte drive with my little logo on it. We had some done up for our conference, Gnome Decks. He says, hey, you're going to want 2 gigabytes, especially if you're going to back up your iTunes library. For a large amount of music or home videos, 4 gig is perfect. And if not more, you know, as big as you can get, as much as you can afford, I think is the bottom line. Tip number 3, go for the indicator display on the drive. Sometimes files are bigger than you think, and flash drives can sometimes fill up pretty quick. So you want to have a good peek at how much space you have left. So that's another thing to keep in mind. There are some flash drives that have LEDs or that'll show you the activity. Some even have LCD readouts where it'll tell you how much space is being stored on the drive. There are even flash drives that are combo Wi-Fi detectors. I mean, they come in all varieties. The ones that I happen to like are more like this. There's no cap that you might lose. I also have one that it doesn't really have a cap, but it's a slider. It slides on and off, and I think that's an 8 gigger. I'm using that as my primary, ReadyBoost in Windows Vista, even though ReadyBoost only works up to 4 gigs, so now I've got 4 extra gigs of temporary file storage on that USB. Well, it's more than just temporary, it's just I use it for temporary space because, well, it's faster than a hard drive, well, at least in theory, depending on which one you buy. Okay, tip number 4, go with brands that are well-known and trusted. If you know how to search for computer hardware and accessories, look for the drives that professionals know and trust, or, you know, look to, well, communities like live.pirillo.com. Always get the best and keep it within your budget. Another thing to keep in mind, too, is don't buy these flash drives, if you have to buy one, on a Saturday. Wait until Sunday. Why? Because these things can sometimes go on sale, and you can pick up a high-capacity drive in a major brand, a major label, for cheap. But as long as you buy it when it's on sale. Don't buy a flash drive because you see it. Oh, that looks like a good price. No, do your homework. You could save, tens of dollars, which is, that adds up. That's money in your pocket, right? Wait for it to go on sale, then get it, unless you have no choice or you know that you're finding a bargain or a discount with what you see sitting in front of you. Of course, if you're shopping on the web, well, then you're doing the research anyway. Number 5, look at the specs for the drive. Remember, you buy it and open it. Some places will just say, oh, well, you open it, it's not our fault. Note, some drives do not support USB 2.0. It's important to note because that has to do with the speed of the flash drive. You plug it in, and it's like, well, it's going slow. Why is it going slow? Well, because it was only rated for USB 1.1 speeds. USB 2.0 is so much faster. Oh, night and day faster. And it's also important to keep in mind that you want to plug a USB stick that you plan on, or a thumb drive, flash drive, whatever you want to call it, into a port, a USB port on your system that supports USB 2.0. And sometimes, some manufacturers will cheap out, and those front USB ports on your computer are only USB 1.1. You don't want to plug a flash drive into that because then it'll be slow. In fact, Windows Vista will even tell you, you put this in a port that's rated for slower speeds. Thank you, Windows Vista. Now all I gotta do is slap around the people who made the PC, and sadly, more often than not, they cheap out. You'll wonder why PCs are so cheap. Because manufacturers are cheap. Cheap. Anywhere to save a buck. Bonus tip, remember, whatever you do with the drive, keep it legal. These things were not made for illegal or pirating purpose. It's foolish and dangerous. And what would happen if I put something on here, very sensitive information, and then where'd it go? I just had it right here. I just had it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Someone is going to find those pictures of Wicket and when he was using Windows Vista, and he doesn't like talking about that. He's now moved on. He's using Linux. He's a happy camper that way. Anyway, I think those are some pretty solid tips, and thank you, Buller Forever, for suggesting these and giving us some good guidelines. I know that these are things my dad even wanted. He wanted a series of them, and they some manufacturers will make them with removable like lids or color bands. He wanted to keep his documents on one. He wanted to keep his pictures on another. That's a good way. It's a kind of a hot swapping backup system of sorts. I don't know how manageable that is necessarily, but hey, he wanted to do it, and I helped him save a few bucks when doing it. So if you guys have any opinions or ideas, or maybe your favorite brands of these thumb drives, I think that is probably a registered trademark. USB media stick things that have space in a solid state fashion on them. Feel free to post a comment, a follow up, whatever. What is the most interesting USB flash drive you've ever seen? Because they do come in crazy shapes, sizes, and colors. I'll show you the one I've got. Well, wait, hang on. I don't think it's in here. Dang it. I got a Swiss Army USB drive, a flash drive, but it doesn't have a knife on it. It's got an LED like flashlight and the USB drive, and I keep that on my keychain. And the reason why I didn't get the one with a knife on it is because I wanted to be able to take it through airport security. I can't bring on shampoo. Shampoo. Can't bring any liquids on the plane. We have code Vaseline. I repeat, we have code Vaseline. Get down now! Put my elbows in there it's for my elbow. Get down! What is he afraid? We're gonna jump into the cockpit and rub stuff in the pilot's eyes? Anyway. I'm sure now I'm going to be on some kind of list, so the next time I go to check into airport security, I will be thoroughly scanned and not in the non-invasive way. My email address is chris@pirillo.com if you've got any other tips, tricks, suggestions, advice, lists for me to share with the rest of the community. And you know where to find me, as well as the rest of the community. We're chatting. You notice they've been chatting here in the video, because it's a whole gaggle of geeks just sitting around talking about various and sundry things, including how my wife Ponzi is now playing with Windows Vista on her MacBook. A moment of silence, please. All right, well, if you want, a little bit of rowdiness and general tech discussion, feel free to stop by our chat room. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and these guys have been telling you where to find us live at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.